पहुंच गए लंदन जाई। और अभी हम जाने वाले हैं, हम कहाँ जाने वाले हैं?
क्रूज पे।
हाँ ये देखा, क्रूज किश्ती गाइस, किश्ती।
वो रहा हमारा क्रूज,
वो रही हमारी किश्ती।
किश्ती भाई। और
ये
ये है रिवर थेम्स, जिसके किनारे बसा है लंदन। और हमारे पीछे है लंदन आई।
पीछे है हमारे लंदन
और
आई।
ये है द बिग बैन।
ये हूँ मैं। मैं ही ब्लॉगर हूँ गाइस, ये नहीं है, मैं ब्लॉगर हूँ। We are on the cruise guys.
But welcome to the city of Westminster. Has lots of royal and palatial beginnings, and over here on your right-hand side we have the largest palace in the United Kingdom. This is the new palace for you all here, the world's #1 selfie spot. More than 6 million pictures are taken on this bridge every single day. And you're going to be part of about 300 of them, so make sure you have your best smile on. I also want you to note the colour of the bridge. It's green. We don't underneath the floorboards of his office. He burned that building down to the ground, and this one was built in its place by a man called Sir Charles Barry and designed in the neo-Gothic style, and it was completed in 1870. To London's West End. You can see some incredible theatre in the National Theatre for as low as £15 a ticket, so if you're looking for some theatre later on, that's definitely a place to visit. But the river itself, the river you're on today, the River Thames, I know the hard-hitting facts, it's what you pay for. What you may not know though, it's a royal highway. Gets that title because there's a route or a passage used by the royal family. Back in the day, they used to have lots of yachts, lots of boats. They'd much rather use a river for transport rather than the congested city roads. It is illegal to have stationary skyline advertising upon a royal highway. So with that really random fact in your mind, off the front of the boat, right-hand side, red brick building, white stripe, singular grey tower, and a little green egg at the top. You may think that grey tower spells the word OXO, O-X-O. It was originally a beef stock company, a gravy company called OXO. And in the 1930s, this was their cold. Today it is one of the world's most luxurious. You can stay in a standard double room over there for the bargain price of £2,500 a night with a minimum 3-night stay. But you're going to want to stay like the stars, the likes of Frank Sinatra, Marilyn Monroe. Very loud. That looks like you, Ben. That's where the name comes from. It was an insult to their boss. Just be glad he wasn't called Richard, hey? Pretty sure they won't put that on the T-tag. Accelerator, becoming the only London bus driver still to this day to complete what was the 12-foot jump between the two centre spans. Thankfully, he landed safely on the other side, was awarded it, and it leads me on to my next story. Let's throw it back to 1952. Albert Gunther was completing Route 78 around the city here, which takes you directly over this bridge. The world's most famous bridge. This is Tower Bridge. Opened in 1894, it's a vascular bridge, taken from the French word for seesaw. That's because those two centre spans, they open up, they take 61 seconds to do so, and in its heyday, it would have opened up more than 3,000 times every year. Unfortunately, nowadays, we barely get a rise a week out of it. But if you do want to check out the Tower Bridge Experience website, it actually gives you a schedule of how often they open the bridge here. But this is the big one, guys. Now, it's designed by a man called Sir Christopher Wren. Very religious man, believed that everyone should pray every single day of the year, so he built it to stand at 365 feet tall. His original designs, however, did include an additional 60-foot golden pineapple to go on the top. That's right, the piece of fruit. That's because the original Globe Theatre would have been built in this part, and we'll talk more about that when we make our way back up the river. On the right-hand side, before this cruise ship, which conveniently parked here yesterday, but on the other side of that cruise ship, you can see an 11,500-ton World War II light cruiser. This is the HMS Belfast, built in the same docks as the Titanic, but thankfully this one had a much better career. Credited with the liberation of Europe after firing those first shots of the D-Day landings, it sunk one of the Germans' most notorious warships, the Scharnhorst. It was said to be decommissioned, but the Imperial War Museum stepped in, and for £1 coin they purchased that vessel, and then it floated here as a museum and a memorial to all those the Allied forces who gave their lives during both the First and Second World Wars. But now, guys, this...
So friends, हमारा क्रूज जर्नी जो है एंड हो गई है, और इस क्रूज जर्नी के साथ साथ हमारा
लंदन ट्रिप भी ऑलमोस्ट एंड हो गया है।
ट्रिप भी ऑलमोस्ट एंड हो गया, यस।
हमने कल निकलना है
अपने घर जाने के लिए,
डॉर्चेस्टर
जाने के लिए, ठीक है।
ओके जी, सी यू गाइस, बाय बाय।